Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar on the duplicate sheets and align functions inside of the Gretech PowerPack for Revit. Quick introduction to myself. My name's Simon Dickinson. I'm the BIM Technical Manager for Gretech here in the UK. Been with Gretech, short microcad for 19 years. Basically with Gretech for the past 6 after Gretech bought microcad. I've been an advocate of BIM and the associated workflows for over 18 years now. I'm a certified Autodesk professional and I'm also a certified Autodesk instructor. Feel free to drop me an email if you've got any questions on the PowerPack or even suggestions of things you would like to see in the PowerPack. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. So sdickinson1. Okay, a little bit about Gretech. Gretech has been in existence for over 30 years now. Our headquarters are in Paris, in France. Where else would it be? Operate in 11 different countries worldwide, and we've got 48 offices worldwide. And we're constantly expanding that as well through acquisitions and growth. Speaking of growth, we have been growing quite steadily now for the past 4 years. We're very fortunate to be a very good, stable company. We have over 550 staff, again, and growing, and 100 of them are actually located in our R&D centre in Romania, producing our in-house software. So producing the PowerPacks, not just the PowerPack for Revit, but the PowerPack for Advanced Steel and the PowerPack for Inventor. And there's a couple of other PowerPacks that are in development as well. We're very much technically based. You know, we've got 200 consultants that are very customer based, customer focused for delivery and consultants, just making sure that you get the most out of any software investment that you make with us. And we are very customer centric. You know, you guys are the most important people to us, and we will always put you first. Okay, a little bit something else about Gretech. We've sort of split the business into 4 main areas. We've got our create business, which is where we're talking about today. So where we actually create the design data by using the Autodesk products such as Revit, but also enhancing the user experience with our Gretech PowerPacks. We have our simulate business as well. So we have a tool called Advanced Design, which is one of our structural analysis packages, and that will feed back into one of our PowerPacks in Revit, which is the PowerPack for concrete, and we can actually use the information from the simulation tools to help us design and construct our rebar cages and rebar drawings. We've got a fabricate tool as well, which allows us to take designs for prefabricated buildings down to the shop floor. And we also have our manage tools as well. So when we look at manage, how do we manage all of this data that we're creating? And that's where our OpenTree product comes in as well. So today what we're going to look at we're going to look at, to start with, the duplicate sheets, and then we're also going to look at the align views as well. So these tools we're looking at in this webinar are very productive. They are probably some tools which you will find benefit from and should save you a lot of time and effort moving forward with the way that you create your drawings and your sheets inside of Revit. Okay, so underneath our documentation tab, we have access there to our arrange views and also the duplicate sheets as well. There's another tool in there called create views, and I'll show you that at the end. Okay, so the duplicate sheets command, when we launch it, is based up of 3 main areas. The first area is the sheets that you wish to duplicate. So this will give you a list of all of the sheets that exist in this current project, and we can select one or more sheet to duplicate. So basically we can set now all the sheets that we actually want to duplicate. The second section within here is the sheet section. Now this is where it will allow us to either change the title block, use the existing title block. So maybe you've got a particular title block for preliminary design, and then you want to change the title block on the sheet for when you move into production. We can change that title block to anything we want. We also have the ability to control how that sheet number works and how the sheet name works. Okay, so sheet names can be the same. You can have multiple sheets with the same name. Obviously, we can't have a sheet number that is the same. So this is where we can start to put prefixes on there or postfix in there. Okay, so we can control how we number that, and we can also things like legends and schedules, which can be put on multiple sheets anyway. Obviously, the views can't, but legends and schedules can be put on multiple sheets. We can tell it if we want to include that data when we duplicate that sheet. The third section within there is the duplicate views. Okay, now obviously it has to duplicate the views. It can't use the same view because, as you know, as if you're a good Revit user, you can't put the same view onto multiple sheets. We have to duplicate it, but we have got full control over how we do that. So for instance, if you were duplicating a sheet to put different information on there, we could just choose to duplicate the views as a duplicate, and it will automatically remove all of the annotation from that view. We can duplicate with the detailing. Yeah, so you could get an identical view, and we can start to control making the changes to that detailing and the information we want to show on that sheet later on. And then we've also got the ability to duplicate as a dependent as well. So we can basically control these sheets then from another view where we can add annotation in from the parent view, and it's going to propagate that down. You'll notice as well there we've also got a view template. So it may be that as we duplicate the sheets, we want to change something else about it. Maybe we want to turn certain elements on and off. Maybe we want to control the visibility of certain elements. Maybe we want to turn the shadows on and the ambient shadows on as we duplicate them as well. So we can control that automatically using a view template. Yeah. We've also got the ability then as well to, rather than it sort of duplicating the views and letting the PowerPack name them views, what we can then do is we can also control, again with a prefix or a postfix, the way in which that view is named after it's been duplicated. And we can also change the title on sheet. So if you use a title on sheet that is slightly different to the view name, then we can also control, as we duplicate that, how we actually want to name them views. It's a really powerful tool, is this duplicate sheets. The next section that we're going to look at today is the Align Views tool. Now, this is really useful for when you're starting to put a sheet together, how we can control the placement of our viewports, if you like, the views actually on our sheet. So we've got various different tools in here. We've got the vertical alignment tools, and we can align to the left, we can align to the right, or we can align centrally in a vertical orientation. So as you can see with a little example down the right, both of them views, you can see by the view title, we've basically been able to align them views perfectly. Some people might use the grid that you can place on there in the sheet. It can be quite awkward to use when it comes to creating the alignment in there. As well as being able to do it vertically. Yeah. So next slide. So there we go, where I've actually used the align vertical by center line. And what we do there is, and I'll demonstrate this shortly, is we select the views we want to align. We then choose the selection. Once we've got our selection, we can then choose the element that we want then the other elements to actually, the other views, to align vertically to. And as well as being able to do it vertically, we can also do the same thing horizontally, as you can see here, and we can get them views to align perfectly as well. Obviously, most of the time we can do that with the snaps in the window anyway, but sometimes we might put another view on afterwards. We might not have the title set up in the same way, so this just gives it a little bit more control. And as I say, we can also do the align horizontally by centerline as well. Obviously, aligning to the bottom edge there is the easy one, because as I say, we can sort of do that with the snaps inside of Revit. But if you wanted to align them horizontally to the top edge, where they're different sizes, then that becomes a little bit more awkward to achieve. We then have two final tools in there in the arrange views. We've got the arrange along a line. So what we can do is we can draw a detailed line on our sheet, and we can actually use that line to align multiple views too. So that this case, I've got an angle, it could be horizontal, it could be anywhere on the sheet, and we can align all the views from the center of that view along that line. And we also have another view tool, which is auto arrange, which will auto arrange the views on a sheet based on their size. Okay, so we can very, very quickly get these sheets set up. And of course, you know, once we've got these sheets set up, the nice thing about that duplicate sheet functionality is that when we do use duplicate sheet, all the views will be in exactly the same place on the multiple sheets. Yeah, so it's one very hard thing to do with Revit natively is if you've got a sheet and you've set it up, if you want to create another sheet with the same duplications of the other views on, one, we've got to manually duplicate it, then we've got to drag them onto that sheet, and then of course we've got to somehow try and get them to be aligned within exactly the same place on both sheets, which is almost impossible. Okay, so let's move over into Revit and start having a look at some of these tools. Here we go. Let's go to Revit. Okay, so here I have a model open, and here's my toolbar at the top. And over here under documentation, you can see where I have my aligned views. It's grayed out because I'm not in a sheet. And then we have the duplicate sheets here as well. There are 70 plus tools in the PowerPack currently, and more functionality is being added all the time. There'll be another release in a few months' time, ready around the same time as Revit 2022 is released, and there will be new functionality in there again. Mentioned about my email address. If you have any ideas or wishes that you wish Revit did this, or it sort of does this, but it'd be better if it did it in a different way, drop us a line. You know, we can put that forward to the developers and see if that tool would be beneficial to the PowerPack. We are always open for ideas. It's how the PowerPack develops. You guys drive the development of our PowerPack by giving us the ideas and telling us the problems that you're having, so we can try and find a solution for you. Over here, I can customize my PowerPack, so annotation tools. I can click on there. As you can see now, this has made all my tools fit on here, look. So here's my align views now and my duplicate sheets. So sometimes it's nice and easy just to click on that PowerPack customization. So I'm going to drop down here to either have all your toolbars on, or very quickly just go to the annotate tools. So I've got some sheets in here already. So there's various sheets. If I come down to my sheets, look, we've got this is actually my office, and this is when we were setting it up to return back to the office during COVID. So we were looking at the space in between them. Some of these desks are not in use, which is much clearer to see actually on one of my other plans. Okay, but we've basically got these COVID floor plans in there. There we go. Switch over. Yep. And you can see then the red desks are the ones that are not in use. So I could have been displaying them on there as well. So let's duplicate some of these views and let's have a look at duplicate these sheets and see how this goes. So I can come into here. This will launch my duplicate view. Now, interestingly, notice none of these are ticked. If I'd have already selected some sheets and was in a sheet view, it would automatically assume that sheet is one of the ones we want to duplicate, and it will automatically tick it for us as well. So let's do a couple of sheets. I'm going to do this ground floor one. I'm going to do this one that's unnamed, and we'll do the 103 COVID proposal here. Okay. So what I can do is here we have our the ability to change the title block that we're using. I'm just going to leave it as the same one. And because this is useful as well, because this would then override the title block for all of them, regardless of the fact that these two that I've selected at the top are A3 and this one's an A1. Yeah, so you just got to be careful, because obviously if you're duplicating different sheet sizes, it's useful just to keep it as the same. So what we can do is we can put a prefix or a postfix in here. Yeah, so I'm just going to call it D, so we know these are duplicated. Yeah, under the sheet number, so we can just have a hyphen D at the end, so we know they're duplicated. I could just add them on if I wanted to. We'll include the legends as well. As for the views, yeah, some of these might have additional data on, tags, etc. So I'm just going to duplicate it as that. I'm going to leave the naming convention, and I'm just going to click OK. Okay, this will now, if we pay attention to what's happening in the floor plans, look, here we now have the duplicated views with a little line underneath, and you can see some of them have got 3D views on, so it's put that underscore. So it's duplicated all of these views for me. And if I come down here, it's also started to duplicate these sheets. So if I go to my ground floor here, yeah, and now I go to my ground floor, the duplicated one, it's in exactly the same place, but you'll notice that the annotation has been removed. So I could now come into here, and I could even edit it in here. So maybe on this one, I was looking at maybe put in, I don't know, it might be that I want to put a colour fill in here. And the colour fill is going to be the room name. So I can very quickly start to look at adjusting that. Let's just take that into a 2 column. Drag it up helps. Okay. So I can very quickly add the additional information, but I know that then the views are going to be in exactly the same place. It's such a powerful tool for, you know, creating a sheet. You might have a sheet that's got, if I went to this one here where we've got various different views on there. So it could have a plan. It could be a room data sheet where one of them is showing certain room information. Then we want to show some different analytical information. It just speeds everything up. This is nothing that you can't do manually in Revit, but what it does do is it does it so much quicker. Okay, and being able to duplicate them views, you're not having to mess around duplicating these, and the fact that we can add some information in on how we want it to be renamed as well is a very, very powerful feature. So it can be a little bit more intelligent rather than just having an underscore in there as well. Okay, so that is the duplicate sheets. The next one we've got is we've got the align view tool. So on this sheet at the moment, this one, everything was auto arranged, and we'll come on to that. But if I come down into here, we've got this align vertical to left edge. Yeah. So let's have a quick look at that. So what we do is we select the tool, and now what it wants to do is it wants me to select the views, if you like, that I actually want to use. So we just click both of these views. Once I'm happy, I can confirm my selection by hitting finish. I then select the view that is the view I want to align everything else to, and it will then allow me to align that as such. Okay, and you know, if I had space on this sheet, let's have a look. Let's just move that one to there and move that to here. You know, if I did exactly the same, go to our align views, I can then select multiple. It says to left edge. That's better. Let's wait until the tool activates before I double click everything. Hit finish, select the element. Now this is where I could actually select this element and it'll select it to, it'll align everything to the left hand side of this view. Yeah. And we could do it the other way as well. So let's just move that out and come in, and we've got the right edge. Again, make the selection, hit the finish, tell it the one that we want on the right edge, and then as you can see, it's aligned everything to the right. So the bubbles are out on the left because I've chosen the right hand side on that one. Okay, the final one really with that alignment is we come into here and go to align. I've got this vertical central line, and again what we do is slightly different on this. Select all the viewpoints, views that I want, go to the PowerPack, go to the align vertically central. Okay, and then it wants me to pick the one that I want to align to. So if I click this middle view here, the other twos will now align vertically down the center line of the views. So really useful for getting your views aligned perfectly on a sheet. And of course, if you've got even more views on the sheet, you might want to do it in multiple steps to get that correct. You know, we've also got exactly the same tool for doing it, as I mentioned, horizontally. So do it to the tops. Because you can select them first if you want as well. And we'll go into the align to the top edge. Select the element that I want to use as the top marker. There we go. And then it will align the viewports. So you can actually see it's aligning it to that crop region of a view all the way across. So we can do it that way. The next one that we have in there is, I'll go back to my PowerPack. On this drop down, we've got this arrange along a line. So what I need to do for that is we need to put a line in there. So we can't have a model line because you can't draw model lines in Paperspace technically. So I can come into here, just draw a detailed line. I'm just going to draw a detailed line from there to there. Okay, so that's the line that I want to use to do the alignment. And again, I could select these viewports first, or we could just escape that and we can use the tool first. It doesn't really matter. So we go arrange along a line, and it goes, right, which viewport? So am I interested in? So I'm into these, click finish. It then gives me a no entry sign, and the only thing I can pick is this line. We can select the line, and it will then arrange the views along the line. So it's the center of a view to the end point, yeah, and the center of the middle view will go to the middle of the line. Obviously, if you've got more than 3, it's going to equally space them along the line, but the end points will always be the center of the starting and end views. Excuse me. And then obviously you don't want to leave that model line in there, that detail line in there, because that detail line will print. So we can just hit the delete once we've finished using that for our alignment. So that is the align and the duplicate sheet tool. And I mentioned we did have this other tool in here, which is to create views. This is really useful. So, you know, anyone that's used Revit in the past, and, you know, let me just do it on this model. Let me go to, say, to one of the elevations. Go. So here I've got the various levels on here. So what I'm going to do is, if I create a level, so you know, whenever you create a level, what we can do is we can start to look at the type of views we want to create. Ceiling, floor plan, it will automatically generate them straight away. But there's a little bit of limitation in there. It's using the default settings for the view template for that. And also, the other issue you've got as well is if we array a level, so let's just array that level up by, say, 4 meters, and I want 4 of them. When we do that, you'll notice that my markers are black because it hasn't actually created, some group them, it hasn't actually created any views for these new levels. So what we've got is the ability under the PowerPack. So there's several tools in here. If I go to the create views, this will allow me to specify the levels that I want to create views from. And it will say, here's your floor plans, here's your ceiling plan, here's your structural plan. But what it will then allow me to do is it will then allow me to specify the view template that I want to use when I'm creating them. Now I could use this as well to almost duplicate the ground floor, first floor and roof, but use a different template. Very similar to the way that we can add a template to the views that we're duplicating on when we're duplicating sheets. So again, it's just another nice way of doing that. So we can set the architectural plan for that. The ceiling plan is going to be architectural, and my structural is going to be my structural foundation plan. Yeah, or maybe I want to use, let's do the structural framing instead. Click OK, and that will now generate it, and it also will name the view based on the view template that we're using. Okay, so here we go under my structural plans, and there's my structural framing. So yeah, I could always go back into there and say, well, there's my structural ones. Now what I want to do is I want to create some more views. I'm only interested in creating the structural views for 3, 4, and 5, but these are going to actually have use the foundation plan on there, say, oh, let's just do that for the ground floor. But we'll do it just so you can see what it's doing with one of the level 3s. And there we go. So we've now got the level 3 for the framing and the foundation, and we've also got the ground floor one. So we can keep doing this, and it starts to create these floor plans based on our templates. Now, if you're a mechanical engineer in the building, there's that many different views that templates you might want to use. So you've got lighting plans, electrical plans, you've got your HVAC plans, you've got your domestic hot and cold water templates that you might be using. So where your hydronic systems are on one, it's very, very quick to generate all them different views that you actually need in an M&E workflow. As I mentioned, there is an absolute boatload of tools that we've developed in here, 70 plus tools, and they are growing by the minute. So that is our introduction today to the duplicate sheets and the aligned views. If anyone has got any questions, please ask them now. If you want to just put them into the chat box, if anyone's got a question on anything that you've seen in the PowerPack today, or anything in the PowerPack in general. I'll just give you a couple of seconds to see if anyone's got any questions. Cool, it's looking like no questions for today. If you do feel free to drop an email to us here at Gretech, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you've got. So again, thanks ever so much for watching. Feel free to follow us on Twitter, our LinkedIn pages, our Facebook page, and of course on YouTube as well. So thanks very much, guys, and until next time, stay safe.
Gretech.